It's just this was during the time when the Israelites were wandering, and this is one of their turning moments when God was leading them to where He wanted them to go, and He sort of gave them exact instructions which they followed, but it just was a good reminder. So Deuteronomy 2:1-7 says, "Then we turned around and headed back across the wilderness towards the Red Sea, just as the Lord had instructed me. And we wandered around in the region of Mount Seir for a long time. Then at last the Lord said to me, 'You have been wandering around in this hill country not long enough. Wandering around this hill country long enough. Turn to the north. Give these orders to the people. You will pass through the country belonging to your relatives, the Edomites, the descendants of Esau who live in Seir. The Edomites will feel threatened, so be careful. Do not bother them, for I have given them all the hill country around Mount Seir as their property, and I will not give you even 1 square foot of their land. If you need food to eat or water to drink, pay them for it. For the Lord your God has blessed you in everything you have done. He has watched your every step through this great wilderness. During these 40 years, the Lord your God has been with you, and you have lacked nothing. And today, I'm grateful for my wife and my children and each and every one of you. And I'm grateful for lacking nothing. In this particular verse, one of the things that stood out to me, like I said, so I was going to read the end of it, where the God is saying that you will lack nothing, right? But reading the end of it of you lacking nothing, to me, robs you of the story behind it, of why you didn't lack nothing. In this particular verse, um, they was wandering around, right? And going in circles and stuck in the same position. It feels as though like, you know what I mean? Like life becomes routine. You know what I mean? And we become comfortable, you know, and we just get tired. No, you know what a way to put it. We just get tired, but like with the Israelites, God instructed them. He told them, he said, you've been wandering around here long enough. That means that guess what? Even though God has a plan, he understands our frustration too. He told them that you've been wandering around here long enough. That means that he knew how they felt. You know what I'm saying? He didn't ask them, he said, have you been wandering around here long enough? No, he didn't say that. He said, you have been wandering around here long enough. Meaning that he has seen and he has heard their cries and he has heard their frustrations, right? But then he said, give these orders to the people. He said, you have to pass through the land of your relatives. And sometimes on the way to your journey, right, you just be surrounded by people. When you felt like you was stuck, you was watching them advance, and you was watching them get ahead, and you was watching them do well, and you was watching them live the life that maybe you thought was deserving of you, you know? And we human, we experience these feelings, we experience these emotions as Christians and non-Christians. These was the Israelites, God's chosen peoples, and they felt that way. So imagine us, right? So he tells them, right, that don't touch nothing because they would have to walk through these people land. They didn't like these people had some sort of camera system or nothing or the Israelites could have easily say, man, look here, we now went in a more fruitful land. I could stop here and I could, take a little something or I could eat some of their food or I could eat some of their water because they ain't gonna miss it. They have abundance, they ain't gonna miss it. But God told them, don't even touch nothing. Not 1 square foot is your alone. Leave it alone. And that's an important lesson that the book has taught us, you know what I mean? Which is what is people own? Let it be their own because our blessings could be bigger and greater than theirs. And us bothering or even worrying about what they have is enough to cancel our blessing. And so God told them, look here, if you need food or water to drink, just pay them for it. That also shows us that God has given us enough resources to handle us to get through the journey that we have. Sometimes, listen, we may only have a little, but it's the gratefulness that we have that really matters in all these things, You know what I mean? I mightn't be able to buy a steak today, but guess what? That can of tuna gonna fill my belly the same way. You know what I mean? While I wait on the steak to come. This is all about the perspective, you know what I mean? And he tells us that he reminds them, and this is the part that I was going to share, and this is the part I can just say, I just repeat it again because it's so important to learn this part, right? He says, "For the Lord your God has blessed you in everything you have done. He has watched your every step through the great wilderness, and during these 40 years, the Lord your God has been with you, and you have lacked nothing." And listen to me, that's the thing. Sometimes we don't have what we want, but we don't lack nothing. And it's just about us getting through this journey, us getting through this breaking point, us just looking at life and saying, "Hey, God, listen, man, I thank you because I may not have the steak today, but I had a belly full this morning. I may not have a Mercedes, but I get a car would get me to work, or I get foot would could get me to walk. I have lacked nothing." So my prayer over every single person that hears my voice today, this morning, whenever you listen to this is that I pray for two things. I pray that you realize that the journey that you're on, that you've never lacked nothing. And I pray that God continues to walk you through the end of this journey so that you could eat those steaks, so that you could feel the complete goodness and blessings of God. So thank you everyone for the opportunity to read this amazing scripture this morning. Thank you, Shalita and Lavette and Indira, for just always being that support system for me, whether y'all see it or not. Just y'all being here and just hearing your voice and your scriptures and your prayers is one of the things where I feel like it allows me not to lack anything. And Demi and Faye and today Ruth, Natalie and F, I just appreciate you guys for even just being here. And I pray that God continues to allow you to lack nothing in your life. I'm Terry and I relinquish my mic.